Alright, so Ozark has finally come to a close after 4 seasons and roughly 5 years. I've been able to watch the last 7 episodes this past weekend, and I'd like to share my thoughts. Back in January, when Netflix released the first 7 episodes of the final season, I did post a review, and there are a couple things I said in that review that I'd like to echo as being true in these episodes as well. The first thing is that I think this show will go down as one of the best, if not the best, acted shows of all time. Like every single person in this show crushes it in terms of acting. There are, of course, three main actors that I think have been excellent from the beginning: Laura Linney, Jason Bateman, and Julia Gardner. I think those are kind of like the three standouts, and they've been, kind of acknowledged for it. I think Julia Gardner has definitely won some awards. I think Jason Bateman's actually won one for directing an episode, but I don't think he's won one for acting. But yeah, they're great throughout the whole thing. They really bring their A game in the last 7 episodes. But everyone else as well. Like I'm not going to go through all the characters, but every single person on this show crushes what they do whenever they're on screen, and so that's been a constant throughout all 4 seasons of the show. I also mentioned in my most previous video about Ozark that it doesn't feel like to me that there are any real subplots in the show. Like everything that happens in the show, every story beat is connected to the birds in some way. Like I've never watched a scene and not thought, oh, I wonder how this is going to impact the birds later. Like you're watching the scene and then you always know that it's going to some way impact the main story. And I think that keeps the writing really tight. It doesn't force us to have to remember a bunch of different storylines. Some people might not agree with me, but I really think it all connects to the birds in some sense. Something else I noticed this season that has always been there, but I've never really been able to put into words, is the high amount of dramatic irony in this show. So a lot of the show revolves around characters trying to politically and socially maneuver themselves into higher positions of power, right? And a lot of times they do that by lying to other characters. And what the show does is when a character lies to someone else, we know that they're lying. Like the audience knows that one of the people is lying, and it keeps us invested in the show because we're always wanting to see, okay, is the lie going to crumble in spectacular fashion, or are they going to do anything that they can to keep the lie going? And with Ozark, it was always 50-50. So I think that was a really good strategy from the writers to always keep that sense of dramatic irony high, because as a viewer, we always like that keeps us invested. Are they going to get found out, or are they going to be able to cover their tracks? So that was something that the show's done throughout all 4 seasons, but I was finally able to, I think, really put it into words after watching the last 7 episodes. With this, of course, being the final 7 episodes in the final season, I do want to talk a little bit about finales, not only of this show, but just in general. So I've read quite a few reviews of the final season of the show, of these last 7 episodes, and there seems to be a pretty split opinion on it. A lot of people either dislike it, or a lot of people thought that the ending was a proper conclusion for like the message that the show was trying to provide to us. And my opinion about the finale is this, and I'm going to keep this spoiler free for the most part. You might consider this a spoiler, but I'm going to keep it as vague as possible. They definitely did not wrap everything up. Like there are definitely loose ends. The story is not finished. Like they probably could have gone for one more season. Like the way it ends, there's still more to be told potentially. With that being said, I do feel like I felt satisfied. Like I was not upset with the ending, which is a big thing for me to say because of the following. So my favorite movie of all time is Avengers Endgame, which since 2019 has completely ruined finales for me. Any TV series that I've watched since then that has ended, or any like film franchise that has concluded, whether people agree it's objectively an unsatisfying ending or whether people agree it's good, ever since Avengers Endgame, every single finale has been disappointing for me. Like, in my opinion, Endgame was like the perfect ending. I mean, I know there's more Marvel movies, but that's a different conversation. That movie left me so emotionally satisfied that everything I've watched since then has left me unsatisfied. So I can tell you that me sitting here and saying that the Ozark series finale did not leave me unsatisfied. That's saying a lot for me. It was fine. Like I said, it's not a definitive conclusion. Could they have gone one more season? Probably, but I feel like where they ended it left it with probably the message that they were looking for. I do also want to point out, so I watched the last episode on a Saturday afternoon after I had been out enjoying some adult beverages most of the day. So I wasn't 100% in like a sound state of mind as I normally would have. But I will say that I did shed a couple tears in the last episode. Like, one solitary tear came out of each eye, like, and just went like that down my cheek. Like, even Avengers Endgame didn't do that to me. I've definitely gotten like glassy-eyed watching things before, but this was the first time that I can remember in a long time that actual physical tears have come out of my eyes. So, again, had I watched it completely sober, probably would have got teary-eyed but not crying. But this is the first thing that's made me actually shed a tear in quite a while. So again, take that for what you will. So just some concluding thoughts on the last 7 episodes and the show Ozark as a whole. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people compare it to Breaking Bad. So if you like Breaking Bad, you'll probably like this show. I think the conclusion was fine. Like, I'm satisfied. I don't need anything else. If they were to decide to do one more season, I'd watch it in a heartbeat. But where they left it off, I think fit with what they were trying to go for with the tone and the message of the show. I do think that if you're someone who's watching this video right now and you haven't seen any Ozark, I think now is the perfect time to watch it. Like I said, because everything is really one storyline, and characters kind of come in and out, I think this show lends itself really well to binge watching. So if you haven't watched Ozark yet, please watch it. It's only 4 seasons, 10 episodes a season, except for the last one, which was 14. So what's that, like 44 episodes? You can have it done in a week. And I think you'd be all the better for it. All right, so Ozark, have you seen it? If so, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more.